Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal International. Begin with our top stories. In this edition, we take you to the Makia neighborhood in Cameroon's economic hub, where insecurity is growing a problem that has left inhabitants in the constant fear of the unknown. And a new stretch of road has been inaugurated at Nomayos, Mefu, and Akono division of the Central region. Applause for the population who have started multiplying their economic activities. The road was officially opened this Wednesday by the Minister of Public Works, who reassured inhabitants that those expecting indemnities will receive soon. And in just 2 weeks from now, members of the two main employers association, the Cameroon Employers Association, SHICAM, and Enterprises to Cameroon will be meeting for their first constructive General Assembly after the major agreement signed early this 2023. Those are major stories. Details right ahead. Hello everyone and welcome once more to this edition of the Primetime Newscast. In this edition of the news in the English language on Canal International. And we begin in news from Makia, a neighborhood reputed for high crime wave in Cameroon's economic hub, a problem that has left inhabitants in the constant fear of the unknown. Raids in the neighborhood this Wednesday by uniformed officers has been saluted by the helpless population. More in the following story.
On avait fait tout le quartier, à cause des bandits sont ici là.
Residents of Makia neighborhoods, a popular bidonville in Cameroon's economic hub, reputed for high crime wave.
Il y a des bangas ici, il y a aussi des drogues. Mais ceux qui vendent les drogues n'ont pas ici à Makia.
Makia is a wild west characterized by constant robbery attacks.
C'est déjà une routine pour nous.
A few years ago, the same Makia neighborhood was raided. Despite the raid, Makia remains unsafe.
Le FMO.
See robbed outside or on the streets. They accuse the youths of other neighborhoods of invading the area.
Pour nous, c'est bien. Parce que vraiment, quand tu peux marcher dans le quartier avec les gens qui prennent le coup à droite, les gens mangent les choses normales.
They described the November 29 raid as timely, though not new, to their neighborhood. The raid is known to have paralyzed early morning businesses.
Depuis 3 heures, il y a quelques temps qu'on vient d'ouvrir comme ça pour que nous on entre.
The raid started at 3 a.m. This is provoked by growing banditry and massive drug consumption. The military invaded at 3 a.m. blocked the entire neighborhood and reopens at 9 a.m.
Donc, il n'y a pas moyen depuis le matin.
The population have expressed the wish of seeing their neighborhoods completely eradicated of high crime wave and drug consumption. And a new stretch of roads has been inaugurated at Nomayos, Mefu, and Akono division of the Central region of Cameroon. Applause for the population who have started multiplying their economic activities. The road was officially opened this Wednesday by the Minister of Public Works, who reassured inhabitants that those expecting indemnities will have them soon. Yes, and except of the Minister of Public Works, Emmanuel Ngano Jumisi.
I've just indicated that to move forward and to become an emergency country, we are trying to, we have to produce ourselves what we are consuming. So when you have a private investor who comes and express his intent to establish a production unit, then the head of state are instructed that they should accompany that private sector by constructing a road, for example, or by bringing energy. So this is a way we are supporting, the government is supporting private investment. The compensation are not being paid in the Fondi division, but the senior divisional officer has been able to identify where is the file, and he started working on it. I'm convinced that in the forthcoming days the solution will be taken.
And we now take you to the Sandaga market in Cameroon's economic hub. We're known for as the greatest foodstuff market. Taxi drivers are known for carrying heavy loads beyond their vehicle capacity. A reporter, a student journalist on internship, Christy Ayare, has been talking to those taxi drivers. Her story.
From Sandaga, the drivers load to different destinations to supply retail outlets like in Yassa, Pika 14, Pika 21, and Dokoti. At dawn, the wholesale supplier meet the drivers who are there waiting to channel the foodstuff to the different market chains. We are in charge of carrying luggages to the different destinations. If we don't do that, several women will find it difficult to transport their goods. In order to protect their merchandise, traders in foodstuff have no choice but to squeeze in the overloaded vehicles. They reluctantly the discomfort and inconvenience in order to avoid being charged highly. 3 in front and 4 behind. When you come up, your legs are paining, you can't even walk. It is alleged that the drivers do so in order to cushion the effect of high cost of fuel. Sometimes are and some doesn't. They are used to because the driver complaining the price of fuel increase. Despite repeated warnings of traffic controllers and road safety agents, the drivers do not heed to such warnings.
Men's divisional officers and other stakeholders involved in the community-driven health projects have taken engagement to fight against malaria, tuberculosis, and HIV and AIDS, organized by Plan International Cameroon Advocacy meeting that held in Cameroon's economic hub wants to ensure that these men's or councils take engagement in that process. More in the following stories. In the littoral region, just like in other parts of Cameroon, there is a huge gap in terms of reaching out to community health facilities, a deficit that adversely affects the health of the population. Public health statistics in the littoral region says 510 people are presently working with communities far below the estimated 2,000 earmarked for advocacy against malaria, tuberculosis, and HIV and AIDS.
Since the last national strategic plan of the fight against malaria, we notice a lack of financial needs to cover the fight. And you know that in our country, malaria is still a biggest, most problem in the health system. Above 29% of morbidity in hospital system and something like 10% of mortality. And then the problem is now to how manage to cover the community system with what you say community health focus in something like 24,000 of health districts that needs the cover of community health focus.
Critics blame the deficit of community workers on the non-involvement of councils.
Our problem is to deal with collectivity, to involve them in the coverage of the activity of how to call community health focus in their area. So we have planned so many meetings of advocacy to engage them.
Organized by Plan International Cameroon, this workshop holding in Douala is bringing together divisional officers, mayors and other stakeholders to completely roll out malaria, tuberculosis and HIV and AIDS, which remains a threat to the population. The advocacy meeting projects with communities is by this calling the attention of all in the implementation phase. And Cameroon and the European Union are reviewing mechanisms to improve on the state of small and medium-sized enterprises in Cameroon, a meeting that brought EU experts and Cameroon's Minister of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, Achille Basilike III. Now, let's take a listen to the EU ambassador in the following excerpt.
We discussed about the economic partnership agreement as a fantastic opportunity for small and medium companies, Cameroonian companies. So we discussed how to use this tool for them and how to use this tool to increase the exportations to Europe. We also discussed the issue of financing, the financing of small and medium enterprises, and we discussed the issue of incubators and the possibility to develop together an initiative on this issue, the issue of financing these companies. And it was a very good, I would say, an excellent discussion, and we really want to increase our cooperation with Cameroon on this issue.
In just 2 weeks from now, the two main employers' association, the Cameroon Employers Association, GICAM, and Enterprises du Cameroon, will be meeting for their first consultative General Assembly after the merger agreement signed earlier this 2023. Preparations to that effect are hotting up in the nation's economic hub, Douala. More with our reporter, Gladys Ambo Tiba.
A calm but busy atmosphere that reigns at the headquarters of the Cameroon's Employers Association, GICAM, 2 weeks to the Constitutive General Assembly meeting of GICAM-ECAM merger scheduled for December 14, 2023, a date that was set during the July 11 Extraordinary General Assembly meeting to validate the merger, whose protocol was signed on April 5, 2023. It was also an occasion to adopt an agenda for the merger process. Since then, there has been serenity at GICAM. We have decided to create an ad hoc committee made up of members of ECAM and GICAM that has as main objective to elaborate all the constitutive text of the entity born of the merger and propose a new nominative and visual identity. It is the same atmosphere that reigns at the headquarters of Entreprise du Cameroon, ECAM. Here, last-minute preparations are underway ahead of the great scheduled. We are calm. We have had our board meeting as well as our extraordinary assembly meeting. We are only waiting for the assembly meeting to validate in the event that will mark the start of Cameroon's entrepreneurial and economic development and independence. We are doing last-minute preparations. As you can see, the atmosphere is calm. We are trying to free ourselves from divergent opinions over the merger and focus towards the great day. The two entities are now working towards having a more inclusive and powerful employers association. Entreprise du Cameroon has proposed the new status and internal regulations of the merger, which takes into consideration membership and voting rights of small enterprises.
And today we also pick interest in Canada, a new destination for Cameroonians. Thousands of young people are interested in traveling to this country to work, school, or join their family members. The reasons for their interest are here in this report by Gladys Ambo Tiba.
Concernant la demande pour l'immigration au Canada, nous avons environ près de 500 demandes.
At least 500 applications received by these immigration consultants from young people wishing to migrate to Canada. There are tens of thousands of other young Cameroonians who, in search for greener pastures, prefer Canada, which is today the new foreign dreamland.
Concernant la demande pour l'immigration au Canada,
we have at least 500 applicants demanding our assistance to travel to Canada. There are, however, different categories for immigration to Canada, but our main target is unqualified workers, students, and business persons. For students and workers, we ensure they have detailed and validated curriculum vitae.
On se rassure que les CV soient validés.
Our efforts to get aspiring immigrants express reasons for choosing Canada as their preferred destinations proved futile, as most turned down our request for fear of making public their travel projects. However, we were told the progressive system and opportunities offered by the country attract immigrants.
We like having people that will have like innovative idea for business, or that will bring their business that they have abroad, bring it in Canada. We have people that want to come and study in our university, in our schools. We have people coming because they have already family in Canada and they want to be together. We like having people from abroad, and in a way in Canada, we're all coming for immigrants. So it's a quite very open land of opportunity.
Many immigration consultants are probing up with the rising demand from Cameroonians to travel to Canada, but how sure are the procedures they undertake to avoid being defrauded?
The procedure, in fact, is quite simple. You have to apply online. A large community of African in Canada. There is no problem. Usually they come and they study in Canada. That's basically the way they start.
It should be noted that Canada has a strong economy. It has a high demand for skilled, semi-skilled, and unskilled workers who are generally highly paid. Reason it has certainly become the new popular destination for Africans and Cameroonians in particular.
And that report the end of time newscast, the English language and Canal, the international. Thanks so much for watching. But usual as a edition. Good night.